Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially starting Nigeria today. On Friday, you should have worked on your chart. Take it out if you completed it. On Friday, if you were here, I was here. I still have my upper respiratory infection. Haven't been able to knock it, so things are going great. I will probably be hacking up along here in just a few minutes, so something to look forward to. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you are exactly 6 weeks to the day until your AP exam. You will have already been done for about an hour and 10 minutes at this point, in 6 weeks from today. 6 weeks from Wednesday, you will be heading into the auditorium for your second exam for AP Comparative on Wednesday, on May 11th, next week. A week from Thursday. So you're 7 weeks away from your AP World 1. Okay. Please listen very carefully. We are finishing content Thursday. Your final test in this class for 25 questions, of course, is on Thursday. You have 25 questions, your focus and your vocab are done, then nothing is the same. Friday, you are coming to class. I will hand you out all of the things you need for your AP review. On Thursday, you will get a new scope and sequence. You will get a new breakdown of exactly what is happening for the remainder. With that being said, spoiler alert, it's a writing week next week. Thank you. Yeah, we're going straight into writing week. This person's handwriting is very satisfying. You have writing week next. You will be getting your essays on Friday. We are writing until next Friday. Everything goes from Monday to Friday. Going forward, you will have weekly tests. There'll be 35 questions. And it'll be every Friday. Except for April 7th, because we have no school, because it's Good Friday, it'll be Thursday. What?
That's the final writing week, right? Ever.
No. You signed up for a class that's 50% writing, Luke. You're also a senior, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. I'm just wondering how many writing weeks there are.
Why don't you wait till Friday and you get your whole scope and sequence, and then you can pin and hope all of your dreams on that scope and sequence. Yeah, no. You have 2 exams, and both of them are 50% of your grade of writing, so guess what we'll be doing, Luke?
So 2 writing weeks?
I can't, Luke. I literally can't. You're a senior. If writing week is that scary, we have bigger problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, Friday, you are coming in. You will see everything, how everything will be done. We are going into AP Gov. Then we'll review for AP Comparative. Isn't this exciting? Is any of your other classes in review? Who, me? So, that is happening. So let's talk Nigeria, please. On the top of your notes, right? Nigeria. This is your final week of content. This is it. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, underneath Nigeria, there's a couple big things you have to know. You need to know it was a prime minister, a parliamentary system. Just write parliamentary system. It was a parliamentary system. Now it's a presidential system. It was parliamentary. Now it's presidential. You need to know that Nigeria is the most diverse country we study. 5th overall in the whole world. Isn't that insane? I think it's Russia, just because of how big it is. Okay, but it's number 5. I saw that somewhere while I was working. Okay, third thing you need to know. You need to know that it's a federalist system. What does a federalist system mean, Alex?
They have a central government and then like different smaller governments.
What do we refer to? What's another country that has a federalist system?
We do?
Yes. So what do we call our federalist components?
It's like the state governments and
We
then
have local state governments, and then we have what is the opposite of a federalist government, Ethan?
Is it unitary?
A unitary system. Unitary versus federalist. Nigeria is a federalist. It has 36 states. Okay? It has 36 states. You need to know that Nigeria is on its 4th republic. Write it down. Nigeria is on its 4th republic starting in 1999. What does that mean? It's on its 4th republic, Mr. Clark. No, not 4th leader. What does it mean, Luke?
It was revoked.
Revoked.
I don't know. Like the other three were like not good.
Sophia. Guys, they were overthrown 3 times. They're on their 4th government. So the government has failed how many times? 3 times. We're currently on the 4th. Write it down. Okay? They're on their 4th republic, which means the government has failed 3 times. Why do Nigerian governments fail, Selena? No, it goes away from a parliamentary system to a presidential system because of it. Why, Nick? It's not corruption. You're not terribly wrong, but you're not right either. Desmond.
Military is not power.
Yeah, the military coups, ladies and gentlemen. Write down military coups. COUPE, it's French. It's military coup. What is a military coup? Caitlin. What is a military coup? We've talked about them before. What do you think it is? A military coup. Who do you think takes over, Caitlin? Who takes over the government, Caitlin? Yeah. Okay, right now, who's in charge of our government? Yeah, Biden is the president of the United States. He's in charge of our government. I don't even know who the highest general is in the United States. Sorry, militarily, that is not my forte. If the strongest general in the United States, our 5-star general, whoever that is, and there's a bunch of them, okay, overthrows Joe Biden and declares himself president, that is a military coup, okay? We have a political body that is now being in control of the military. That is what a military coup is, and that is why Nigeria has fallen 3 times in their government. Write down, military coups, 3 government overthrows, 8 total coups. Write it down. 3 government failures, 8 total coups. C-O-U-P-E. And if you want to put a little inflection over the P, how fancy. The inflection is the arrow up if you really want to be. It's not just the... Anyway, okay. So, Nigeria has a military problem. Can we agree? We're going to talk a lot about their military here in a few minutes. The reason why we go from a prime ministership to a presidency, write it down. The transition from a prime minister to a presidency. Okay, prime ministership to a presidency. Listen, and then I'll tell you exactly what to write. How do we elect a prime minister in the UK? By the way, I'm reviewing now because review needs to start because woski broski. David, how does the UK elect a prime minister? No.
They elect their
The House of what?
House of Commons.
Yes.
And the House of Commons
Elects what? Prime minister, okay? So it's internal. You have to have an elected body. That elected body elects amongst itself the next prime minister, okay? How does a president get picked? Grant, how does it get picked?
Oh, they're elected by the people.
Huh?
They're elected by the people.
Okay, and what? Give me the type of election that we have them. Give me a vocab term here, Grant. Jordan, help. Direct election or what, Jimmy?
Electoral college.
Electoral college here in the United States will score as well. Okay, so you're elected by the people. Okay, which one is easier to implement? Prime Minister or President? President is easier. Write it down. Okay, so they're going to start as a prime ministership. Why does Nigeria start as a prime ministership? It's obvious and simple. David?
It was a British colony.
It was a former British colony. There we go. Okay, it's a former British colony, so it continues the British tradition of doing a prime ministership. Then keep in mind, what is the biggest problem that consistently harasses Nigeria? I just taught it to you. Caitlin. Military coups. Is it hard? Think about this. If you're a general, you've just overthrown the government, you're now in power. Is it easy to convince a general to step down to get elected by his peers to become a prime minister? That's not going to happen. However, if you're a military general, you've just taken over the government, can we do an election where you become president? It's easier to fake an election than it is a prime ministership, correct? So they are going to, write this down, Nigeria transitions to the presidency to try to compensate for more democracy within military coups. Okay, so you need to have down that Nigeria transitions from a prime ministership to a presidency to begin pulling democracy from the military coups. There's more access to democracy under a presidency than there is under a prime ministership when you have a military coup in process. Okay, so next thing you need to know, Nigeria is the largest population in Africa. There are more people in Nigeria than in any other African country. You need to know that Nigeria's GDP is the largest in Africa. It also has the most stable economy. So if you were going to move as an American into Africa, what country are you probably going to head to? There's really only two countries Americans really go live in. Which is one of them? Nigeria. Nigeria, and what's the second one? Does anyone know? South Africa. Okay, South Africa is the second largest country and the second most economically stable country. Okay, you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, that Nigeria is going to be 50% Islamic. If it's 50% Islamic, it's 50% Christian. It's 50% Islamic and 50% Christian. You need to know it's a rentier state. Katie, what is a rentier state? Oh, we talk about it every week, girl. My little heart is so sad. Depends on. Nope. Jordan? Yeah, natural resources. So write it down. It's a rentier state. It depends on natural resources. And what is one of those natural resources, Emerson? Oil. It's part of OPEC, or the oil production and exporting countries. You also need to know it's famous for its emeralds and its diamonds, which is also what makes up a large part of its GDP. And you should write it down because that's what makes part of it rentier. You need to know that it has a thing called prebendalism. It's on the front. There has a major component called prebendalism. Put a box around it. It is that important. Prebendalism. Okay, so every week I teach you a country. We realize that there's one theme that keeps jumping out every single week, right? In Russia, how many times we talk about the damn oligarchs? Like the whole time. In UK, we talk about the stupid healthcare system, like every other answer. Okay? In China, what did we talk about all the time in China? Huh? Yeah, we talked about the dual systems. all that stuff. In Nigeria, it's prebendalism, or patron, client, patron, not patron, Jesus. I don't even drink tequila, honestly. Patron, damn it. Patron, oh my God. Patron-client relations. Okay, so what is it? Okay, listen and then I'll tell you what it is. Okay, the most important thing you have to understand about Nigeria, it's one of the most culturally diverse places in the world. Okay, they have things called tribes. Write it down. A tribe is an ethnic group. A tribe is an ethnic group or close cultural connection of a unique group of people. Here in the United States, we have things called tribes. We have Native Americans, but those tribes are kind of what we're talking about. But is that the fabric of America and how it's built? No, it's not. We destroyed them all. Okay, throughout our history. But that being said, and Nigeria is all about their tribes. It is all about the me with the you. That's their whole identification. Is here in the United States, I'm 99% Irish. And if you think I care about St. Patty's Day, you're completely delusional. I could give a shit less. It is the dumbest holiday. And honestly, you people are really insulting in your ridiculousness about Irish culture. It's fine. I don't really identify myself as Irish, even though I'm 99%. My mom's side is 8 generations back Irish, like pre-potato famine, like way before the potato famine. My dad is potato famine. If you're Irish, 90% of you came here during the potato famine in the 1820s. That's what a potato famine is. Brennan, this will be a topic for another day. Okay, so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I do not identify myself as Irish, even though my entire lineage is Irish. Irish Catholic, hardcore. I identify myself as a American, because here in America, we identify ourselves as a culturally unifying thing, right? Raise your hand if you're Irish with me. Anyone else Irish? Anyone else Italian? Okay, all right. We got Chinese, Taiwanese? I don't know how you say it. Taiwanese, there you go, I'll take it. Thai. We got all different types of people, but we all identify ourselves as Americans. In Nigeria, it is the opposite of that. They do not call themselves Nigerians. Write it down. Okay? Now, if they were telling me, a white person from America, where they're from, what would they probably tell me? Nigeria, because I'm too dumb to know anything different. Yes? Okay? However, if they were speaking to another Nigerian from the same part of the world, they would identify themselves by their tribe. It is ethnicity over everything else. There is no unifying thread between Nigerians. It is all based on tribe. So, put a big star. Prebendalism is the exploitation of opportunities. It's the exploitation of opportunities for the betterment of self and tribe. Okay? So, Brit is our politician. Okay? He represents our tribe of Nigeria. He goes to the capital city where he's going to make a living being a government official, living a high life. Right, Brit?
Yep.
Okay, while he is in Anju, which is the capital city of Nigeria, he is going to be collecting bribes, and he is going to be sending them back to his hometown every single day. Every single day, he is going to be stealing money from other parts of Nigeria in order to send money explicitly home for us. Because the most important thing is either Brit himself or his tribe. So if he is a regional director, okay, where's all the money of his regional power going to? To his tribe. He is going to cut as much lines back to his tribe, because the most important thing above anything else is not protecting and helping Nigerians, but it's helping who? His own specific ethnic identity. Here in the United States, okay, do we feel this way about our ethnic tribes? No, we don't, okay? Now, there are some people here in the state of Florida that is going to vote for Ron DeSantis in 2024 because he's from Florida. He's our governor. We got to support our governor. Some people do vote because people come from their state. Yeah, okay? There are some people in Ohio who love Ron DeSantis because they ideologically agree with Ron DeSantis. We, as Americans, vote and care about lots of different things. In Nigeria, what is the number one thing they care about? Their ethnocentric components of their ethnicity. Everything comes back to their tribe. All money gets siphoned back to their tribe. This is the root of all corruption. Write it down. Every aspect of Nigeria comes back to sending money back to the, okay? So, put another big star. This is why there are no majority favorites in politics. Why are there no majority favorites in politics, Caesar?
Neither tribe is the majority population.
Okay, there's 150 tribes in Nigeria. So every single tribe only cares about their tribe. So if Grant is running for national office, okay, he can get his tribe to support, absolutely. But Sydney's tribe, what is Sydney's tribe going to say? Absolutely. This is what caused political fragmentation. Write it down. Okay? Because of the tribalism found in Nigeria, there are no majorities, which leads open to what occurring 8 different times throughout Nigerian history, Riley. Military coups. Because of the ethnic divide of 150 different tribes who only care about their tribe and how their tribe survives, it causes all this political decentralization and fragmentation, which allows, is perfectly right for a military coup to rise in, surge in, and take over. They're pretty different. Now, here in America, we have our own problems. Can we agree? Right now, we're some of the most fragmented we've ever been, but we're only divided up into 2 parties, right? Hopefully, no matter what team you're on, we can all identify ourselves as American first, yes? And then you can call yourself a Democrat or Republican or whatever you are, especially tomorrow. Let's think of America first. We all heard that Donald Trump could be arrested tomorrow? Guys, how are you living in your head under this thing? This shit is wild. Donald Trump on Saturday at like 10:30 in the morning posted on truth.com or whatever that he is going to be arrested tomorrow for Stormy Daniels. And if you don't know the story Daniels, talk to your friends about it. Samantha is not educating you on the nuances of Stormy Daniels. Yes, ask your mom. With that being said, Donald Trump may be arrested tomorrow. This is a huge deal. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If you believe Donald Trump is completely innocent, this is a political witch hunt. If you think it's about damn time he gets arrested, wherever you are, this is a huge deal tomorrow. Donald Trump is already calling for national protests. New York City has already started boarding itself up in preparation for protests. Like, it's a thing. There has never been in the history of the United States a former president arrested. Now, I told you that Donald Trump announced that he is getting arrested tomorrow. The New York Attorney General has not come out and said they're arresting Donald Trump tomorrow. Do you think a state announces who they're going to arrest before they're ready to arrest them? No. So they're being like, hey, they're not saying they're doing it. They also haven't denied it either, so it's very unclear if it's going to happen tomorrow. No matter what, it's a huge deal. Yes? The political unrest here in the United States, haven't you seen don't you have friends on social media already posting videos pro and against? Oh, my news feeds are insanity on both sides. Complete insanity. Okay, I already have family members who are going to the protests. They're carpooling. It's really nice for conserving gas. Okay, I have a bunch of people who are throwing parties that I know. It's wild. It's a wild time. It's a big deal. With that being said, here in the United States, we're fragmented into two parties at the moment. Can we agree? Pretty ferociously between two parties. Imagine being fragmented into 150. It is weird. And the hyper tension that you feel towards your own group of people supersedes literally everything else, and that causes lots and lots of conflicts and has lots and lots of issues. Whew. Okay, let's talk geography, because you cannot talk Nigeria without talking geography. Okay, let's talk about the north. Okay, the north is where the mountains are. Okay, the north is where the mountains are, and they're located in a jungle. Would you want to be in an African jungle on a mountain? Does this seem like easy land to, it's wild up there. It is wild. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, the North, write this down, was never directly controlled by the British. Why is that important, Caesar?
Because their government is influenced by the British government.
No. What does it tell you about the terrain in the North if the British never held it directly? No. The British. Brooklyn?
Hard to navigate.
It's really hard to navigate. It is very difficult terrain to traverse or get through. Okay? It is super thick jungle, exactly what you think about when you think of African jungle, that's it. And it's super mountainous with really sharp hills and cliffs. It also has a lot of natural resources like salt, which means there's lots of caves. Write it down. Okay? Which means, is it easy? If you live there your whole life and you know that terrain, is it easy to get around? If you're an outsider, is it easy to get around? No, this is going to be important for two things. You need to know the British never took it, and they allowed an indirect rule, which means the British never forced their own culture on them. Today, what religion do you think is there? It's Islamic. Write it down. What type of law code are they using, Brit?
The Sharia.
Sharia law is what they're using. You need to know. Their economy is significantly weaker to the north. Why is it weaker? Makes sense. Alex. You're not Alex, you're in the north. The economy is significantly weaker to the north. Why, Alex?
I don't know, because the British.
Well, look at the south. So we know the north, okay, it's all mountains. What do they definitively have in the south that gives them a huge benefit?
The water.
Yeah, they have water access, easier transportation. We're going through really thick jungles, so there's not a lot of movement of goods in between things. Okay, cliffs do not make things easier, people. Okay? So, you need to know the north is mountainous. You need to know Sharia law. You need to know Islamic. You also need to know what terrorist group is there. Boko Haram. Boko Haram is located there. Now, the Nigerian government has never been able to put Boko Haram down. Write it down. Why? I gave you all the information you need. Why, Riley? They can't navigate the terrain. Okay? I already told you the mountains, it's really thick jungles. On the other side of it, there's a bunch of mines and depositories of natural resources that have been carved out over eons. So, there's plenty of places to hide, and there's lots of tunnels underneath the ground. Yeah, nightmares. Okay? So, Boko Haram is to the north, in the mountains, thick jungles. To the south, here we go. What is the biggest asset to the South? What do you got, Mr. Clark? What's the biggest asset to the South?
Welcome back.
Well, the economy is going to be, Emily. The water. I gotta get through this. The water is the biggest asset. You need to know they have a almost 6 times stronger economy to the South. You need to know they were controlled by the British. Okay? What else do you think is there that makes it very valuable that the British had to have it? Oil is found in the South. You need to know, ladies and gentlemen, that there are 90%, I think 85% of your population live in the South. Why? Why, Desmond? Okay, we can't just say that. Super good. Economically, the largest cities are in the South because there's no mountains, it's not a jungle, it's flat. Agriculturally, all the food is grown mostly in the South. It's all the farmland, all of your arable land is to the South. You are also going to have the highest density of people is to the South. Your largest cities, your arable food is to the South, okay, as well as your largest economic components. There you go.
Are the precious gems or stones that they get, are they from the south or the north?
They're from the north, but they've been over harvested at this point. So they're now like blood diamonds. Have you ever heard of blood diamonds? That's Nigeria to a T. What do you got, Cynthia? No. So for every have you not to put you on blast, don't raise your hand. But if you've ever gone on a cruise and bought diamonds from a cruise ship, those are like 99% all blood diamonds, which means for every diamond, I think they estimate about 11 people have died for it. The slave labor, the abuses, the atrocity. Because think, if Sydney is, in a mine and she finds a diamond, what is Grant going to do to her? Yeah, he's going to kill her, absolutely. So now he has the diamond, and then he's going to run his mouth off to Jake, and what's Jake going to do to him? Kill him, and it just creates this assembly of just chaos and death and all this stuff. Especially in your poorer countries like Chad, Cameroon, and Niger. Those are some of your poorest countries that have the largest blood diamond ratios. This is not what I thought we would end on. What do you got, Emily?
How does switching to a presidential system kind of lower or limit the military coup?
Because they're more likely to accept power as a president than a prime minister.
But what about the president drive?
What do you mean?
The president